All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us. I want to jump right into a short presentation on basically what I kind of feel is going on in the world, and I don't want to beat around the bush at all. So look around. The entire American Republic is being kept in a state of perpetual fear. You know, hyper reactive theater, I would call it. We are fed a daily diet of red versus blue, left versus right, Democrat versus Republican, election cycle after election cycle. We are told that if we just vote for the right manager, if we yell loud enough at the TV, or if we just sign the right petition, the ship will magically correct itself. It seems to me that both the left and the right have the same agenda, including this administration. It is a complete matrix theater, all for distraction purposes. The hard truth, the truth bomb that most people are too afraid to face is that the daily news cycle is engineered. It is a smokescreen. It is usually a simulated debate. I don't know if you've seen all those news presentations where they all say the same thing. 100 people scripted across 100 different news agencies worldwide. Uh, this debate choosing between two sides, the exact way they want the corporate coin to flip. Whether it lands on heads or tails, they win. While the public is busy arguing over theater and stage, the real power structure is operating completely unbothered in the shadows of deceit, murder, and lies. They don't care about who wears the crown because they own the system that prints the currency and dictates the rules. The real mechanism of control isn't political, it is institutional, financial, and highly jurisdictional. It functions by quietly locking you into specific legal definitions, contracts, adhesion agreements from the moment that you are born without your conscious knowledge or your consent. I would call it slick. But if we aren't here today to just point out the cracks in the wall, it is easy to look at the broken world and complain about it. It takes real courage to do something about it. It takes a precise framework that exists to help step completely outside of that simulated debate. And that is what education, lawful, restorative path that we've selectively done for ourselves through his advocates. We don't just expose the trap, we hand you the keys to walk out of it, not just personally. With our VIP members, we are doing personal, spiritual, emotional, to understand the biblical framework, to understand the legal framework, and to understand how to live life at peace internally. A lot of people out there that have it all together. The outside is completely working for them, and inside they are a complete wreck, fearful of everything. To understand how to get out, you have to look directly at the gears of the machine. Let's talk about conspiracy facts, the structural realities that are shaping your life right now while the masses remain asleep. You guys are special. If you're here, if you're listening, you literally are a special class. Our YouTube is going down in subscribers. Our YouTube generally has more views, and the next morning, less views. We are monitored, we are gaslighted, and the information that we give out is restrained from the majority of people's ears. So if you've made it to this, you are one lucky guy. Let's first look at the financial trap, the systematic de-dollarization of our economy, and the rapid rollout of programmable digital assets. This isn't a conspiracy theory about the future. It is an inactive back-end architectural overhaul happening right now. Central banks around the globe are quietly shifting the infrastructure. Why? Because fiat currency you can't hold in your hand where you have that smidgen of privacy left. Digital currency, not held in a hand, complete ownership, complete control, a fully centralized programmable digital currency system or digital asset system that allows the power structure, what I call PTB, to control, track, ultimately gatekeep your ability to buy, sell, conduct commerce. If your assets are fully digital and controlled by a centralized ledger, your access to your own wealth can be toggled on or off based on your compliance with the regulatory standard updates. It is the ultimate tool for engineering a dependent, easily managed populace. In other words, you, and coming to a theater this year. Second, this is the piece that trips up almost everyone. Let's look at the corporate status game. Historically, our country was built on an organic, localized governance, county by county, rooted in common law and foundational freedoms under God. But quietly over generations, that system was layered over by an administrative corporate state model where the identical equivalent of every county, borough, town, city, and state were all renamed slightly different with the same generalized name incorporating each one, which means they all have stockholders, creditors, and you are made the debtor. Look closely at the paperwork of daily life. The standardized citizen is systematically funneled into adhesion contracts, registrations, regulatory jurisdictions by default. When you sign up on the dotted line for standard government forms, licenses, and financial accounts, you are unknowingly altering your legal status. This isn't a conspiracy anymore. You're stepping out of your inherent, God given standing and entering into private corporate jurisdiction where you're treated as an ass at a debtor and a mere employee of the state. They don't need to lock you into a physical cage, although they are considering it and have built for it. When you get to sign the paperwork that funds your own captivity, who is in control? So exactly who is driving this train? If you think that the president, the prime minister, or the visible politicians on your TV screen are missing the target or not getting what you really want or making false promises, those individuals are transient managers at best. They are actors brought in to read a script for 4 to 8 years and to give the public the illusion of choice. The true power structure belongs to a permanent, unelected managerial class that operates across three distinctive tiers. The financial tier. This is anchored by a global central banking networks and a massive monolithic asset management firms. These institutions hold trillions, if not quadrillions of dollars in capital, and they dictate corporate policies worldwide, control the flow of credit, and decide which industries live or die based on compliance metrics. If you doubt that, look at what happened during COVID. A single message went across the world, and everybody had glass on their windows and masks on their face within 2 weeks. The entire world was ran into the ground by a single event and structure. Well organized, well tiered. The administrative tier, this consists of the vast, unchecked regulatory bodies of alphabet agencies, FBI, CIA, and the like. These entities create binding punitive rules, codes, and statutes completely outside of the legislative process. They are never elected, they cannot be voted out, and they answer only to a financial tier that funds their expansion. The narrative tier, this is tech media conglomerate. Basically, two companies in this world control all the media for the world. Its sole job is to filter information, censor dissenting voices, and keep the population in a state of emotional reactivity. It ensures that you are always reacting to the latest manufactured crisis, leaving you zero time to think strategically about systematic solutions. This three-headed snake works in perfect unison to protect its jurisdiction and keep the American people working harder for a currency that buys less with a system that restricts more. Why is exposing this not enough? Let's talk about the trap that catches most truth seekers. Too many people spend all their time gathering information, listening to YouTube videos and podcasts. They spend hours a day researching the deep state, watching videos, learning about banking cartels, getting angry, and they think that accumulating knowledge in the same thing is achieving freedom. Let me tell you something directly. Knowing the game that it is rigged and absolutely nothing to protect you if you keep playing by their rules. If you spend all day complaining about the administrative state, but your legal status, your property, your assets, and your contracts are still completely entangled in their corporate web, you are still under their control. Complaining about the power structure while remaining fully reliant on its systems is a losing strategy and guaranteed to put you in handcuffs at one point in the very near future. The power structure thrives on your anger because anger without action leads to despair and paralysis. You have to change the rules of the game that you are playing. You have to move from being an educated victim to a lawful victor. And this is precisely why his advocates was built. We didn't build this network to be another alternative news channel or place to just vent about the globalists. His advocates is an active operational portal for structural realignment. We provide the community, the education, the jurisdictional support, the asset protection, and the precise tools to help people step out of corporate status trap, reclaim their proper identity, and reestablish their foundational freedoms under God while keeping everything they have worked for in their hands. This is a call to action. Freedom is not found in fighting an old system. It is found in properly executing a lawful and spiritual separation from it. Period. The administrative state only has jurisdiction over the legal entities it creates and regulates. When you learn how to realign your status and operate properly, lawful jurisdiction, their web begins to untangle. At His Advocates, we break this down into a concrete blueprint. First, we focus on the status restoration and education. We teach the difference between the corporate fiction and the living man or woman that stands under God, and the jurisdictions and the Supreme Court case sites that show this to be true. Our specialized curriculum and action list walk you through the precise steps needed to correct your standing and protect your private property. There is no other ministry and no other guru on the face of this earth that is handling this like our ministry. Second, we provide a media secure communication network. You cannot do this alone. The power structure isolates people to make them weak. Through His Advocates TV and our dedicated platform, we built a sanctuary where truth is spoken plainly without fear of corporate censorship, shadow bans, or platform termination. It is a place to connect with title experts, real estate professionals, and like-minded individuals who are actively building a parallel economy. The time for sitting on the sidelines is over. The power structure is moving fast, and they are counting on your compliance and your fear and your confusion. Stop funding the systems that are designed to diminish you. We all do it. We are all guilty. Step out of the theater and correct your standing and take control of your legal and spiritual destiny. Go to His Advocates and get plugged into the training, and let's build a foundation of true freedom together. Thank you. Questions? I'm going to open up the Q&A. First question, can I still get a corrected deed if the county doesn't have meets and bounds, but only a deed record for the subdivision? Have you done a deed overseas property? I know okay, Jeff, deeds are pretty much alike worldwide. It's not whether I've done one. There's people that have used our deed and gone around the world and had stuff recorded. I don't know the policies and procedures outside of the country like I do this country. I would just take a deed under the same premise of land using a private entity, and where you are doing a countersign acceptance. There's about 6 principles that need to be within our deed, as you know. And you just go look at their deeds, and you can make one up like that using the same principles. Jurisdictionally speaking, how they address that when recorded, I have no idea. But I would just suggest go for it. Regarding your first part of the question on the meets and bounds, Jeff, you maybe have a plot map. The plot map generally speaks about your area specifically in a meets and bounds format. If it does not, you can go and get a land surveyor to get you meets and bounds for your area. But you do not want to describe a legal description. You want to describe land as much as possible. I'm in the private and I have a student loan that was not forgiven during COVID. If I choose to not pay it back, how can this affect me now that I'm in the private? Well, it depends. If you have a job at a corporation, you might be vulnerable to a judgment and where they would pull it out of a check. If you do not, and you're running a business or everything through a foundation, there's nothing that they can do to you, and eventually it will fall off and disappear. Okay. That is literally all the questions. If you guys have any questions on the Q&A, remember something, we're going to be doing a live Q&A tomorrow at 4 p.m. for the VIP members, to where we interact. You ask your questions live and I answer them. Super important time, because sometimes we get our questions going back and forth. Let me give you an update on a couple things. Before, in this trouble ticket system that we have, I call it a trouble ticket. That's just what they call it. You would ask a question, and sometimes it'd be a day or 2 days before you would get an answer. We pulled in about 50 tickets that were completed and about 800 questions that were answered by me. And we created an API link between a Q&A AI, artificial intelligence, and our back-end support ticket system. We've made the connection, we've trained it, and we're now starting to get questions where in the next week we're going to start posting answers live. And what that means is we're going to go into the ticket system. I don't think it's going to look any different for you, other than, are you satisfied with this answer? Do you need another answer? Do you need to elevate the answer? Kind of a thing. But what's great is it's going to become more of a chat. and less of a trouble ticket system where you have to wait. That is going to rocket his advocates, because I know the frustration that you must feel, like not being able to get something answered. And I know waiting on an answer always sucks for everybody. I want you to know that I do 4 Q&As a month where I go live for free to anybody that has questions about living in the private, and we answer all questions. I do now an additional 2 for our VIP community where they can answer a question with me live, and that sometimes promotes another secondary, third, or fourth, or fifth question. And now they can get an answer from me live and get all their answers dialed in. I'm going to tell you, in most cases, the reason why people have questions is either our back office system doesn't explain it well enough, train you well enough, or you don't read instructions well enough. And that's not to put us down or put you guys down. It just is what it is. We're trying to make this absolutely most difficult task of running 1,000 people at once through living in the private go to 1,000 people a month. We want to free this nation. And that is not even a number that's nearly enough to get us to the point where we can free this nation. But if we can monitor the posts of what is being done based on previous tickets that have modeled a perfected post, and we can create support ticket systems, videos, automated answers, and then follow it up with another 6 sessions with me a month, 4 going out to the public, 2 or staying private with the VIP members, I think we're going to conquer this in very short order. I think his advocates living in the private members are going to be excited about what we're doing. We have recently just finished a letter for a woman, I believe she's on with us right now, regarding her job. This is an important thing for a lot of people when they don't understand the function of how to work for a company and remain in the private. And this is now being conquered with a responsive letter dealing with an attorney at the top of an HR for a high-level company. So it's going to be interesting how they take this on, because we're quoting case law and they're quoting conspiracy fact and theory. And so we're going to see what they do with it. And I'm going to ask this woman, you know who you are and listening, to keep me posted. Next question. After the SSA default letter, SSA sent a letter to me saying that their Social Security taxes are lawful, and that they do not respond to any more correspondence. What does this rally mean overall regarding SSA for me? Craig, it means nothing except it's confirmation that they received your administrative process. So you put that into your court of record. So you have your 3 letters. You're creating a court of record. Remember something. This is the new policy that you're willing to work with them. It's the new agreement you're willing to work with them. It's called a novation. Novation. You're creating a new agreement through a process because of their acquiescence and default. So you don't need to do anything different except create the common law court of record and put their letter behind the date and whenever it came in as confirmation and proof they received your correspondence. Don't worry about it, is the point I'm trying to make. And it doesn't hurt your position to receive SSA at the time of retirement directly into your foundation account. It doesn't hurt that at all. We are working on our paperwork. Can we change our existing LLC to be owned by our foundation, or should there be a separate foundation that owns our LLC? For me, I would always keep multiple foundations. If somebody were to, you want one to control the assets of the homes, the land, the cars, what you personally control. And I would want one separate for the LLC. There's a couple different ways to structure the LLC. You can make the LLC have the foundation as its primary member. You want to go look up the term disregarded entity under IRS code, and that's going to help you a lot with how to deal with the taxes of the LLC. But super important, there's a lot of different structures. If you truly wanted to know how to properly structure it, I would do a consultation with me, or tomorrow at 4 o'clock, be on to kind of tell me about your LLC a little bit more, and we'll address it directly there. That way you can get your answers at no additional cost. Hawkeye, I got my certified copy of my passport application where I see the government put the SS number on it when it went through processing. Yeah, they generally will put a number down into their own section in the corner area where just tying it, because remember something, they are not contracted with you theoretically. You're creating a trust indenture to receive a passport service for the birth certificate. The birth certificate is the entity that is assigned the SS number. And so what you're stating to them is you do not need to put a social security number on there. You're not stating that you never went and applied for one or never had one. So when they come back, and remember how we responded to their no social response. Remember what we said in that letter? It was assigned, the Social Security is assigned to the registered organization to which you are the full beneficial interest on, and you no longer are the liability for. So what we are doing is we're building every element of every agreement where you are placed in the position of surety. We're transferring your position into beneficial interest over that adhesion trust. You don't need to worry about what it says on the certified copy of your passport application. Whether a social exists or not, it does not depend on what your statement was on the DS-11 and the explanatory statement stating, I am not a U.S. citizen. I am not an employee of the United States. My declaration is to my state. My declaration is to, to the United States of America and to the Declaration of Independence. So the point being, whenever they go trying to do a criminal indictment or a warrant, they always pull the application where you said, I am a U.S. citizen, but you did not. But that's how they gain jurisdiction. So the fact that we did the application right and the certified copies coming back, whatever they write in, they're crossing out stuff all over the app. They're crossing through stuff that you write. They'll cross through California and they'll put CA. It's only what you put on the application that matters, is my entire point, Hawkeye. It's what you said. You didn't say you were a U.S. citizen. You didn't say your parents were U.S. citizens. You didn't say any of that stuff. As a matter of fact, when you get those certified copies, what you have is an offer of you as a state citizen, an acceptance from them with a passport, and now you have evidence of your status as a state of the Union citizen through the certified copies of the passport application. Congratulations, Hawkeye. It's good news. So what were you thinking about previously is the process I go through to retain my license? Kelly, you have to give me more than that. My brain does not remember any conversation I had with anybody or any, and I'm sorry, any question or answer that we did last week. You got to give me the full framework of what you're trying to ask, please. And forgive me, I don't have a flawless brain. Wish I did. Thank you. We had a call in January and still had half of the call out. Would you like to start this as soon as possible? Sure. Absolutely. Set it up on a ticket. Just ask for the remainder of your time and we'll get you a link and a time and date. Sorry, 2 LLCs. You can do a foundation as a primary member to 2 LLCs. You can create a new foundation for each. You can do any number of things. By the way, Our foundations for existing living in the private members are half cost for an additional one. So it's to help people get through those additional expenses. Craig says I needed to send in a change of address form to the IRS today for the foundation address. Why? Don't ever, ever, Craig, communicate with the IRS about your foundation. You do not need to update them for anything ever, ever. But I signed it how you taught me and to sign contracts last year and to form 2025, but my wife signed normal since she isn't in the LPP program. Is this all for now? How do you get why would your refund check for a foundation matter? You don't file a tax return on a foundation. Craig, what are you talking about? A refund check? Foundations do not file for taxes. It's for a personal return. Oh, I get it. When you say you did a change of address form, did you just notice them of an address, or did you fill out one of their forms? You filled out one of their forms. Is there anything jurisdictionally on that form that was a statement of anything that you need to worry about for your wife? Because I don't know what the form is. Jump on tomorrow Q&A so we can IRS form she just needs to sign. She just needed to sign. I don't know what form it is. What's the form number? Because I can go and read that form and it's going to say something under the section of signature that is a jurisdictional issue. This is why we don't sign anything without a full reservation of rights. Your wife, it's fine that she signs a form normally, and it's fine that you sign a form with full reservation of rights. There's nothing that they can do about it, but I just want you to know the foundation doesn't need to receive mail ever. You just need to tell the IRS, make everything in care of the foundation name. That's all. And there's no change of address form needed for the IRS for the foundation. The foundation just needs to be, or the IRS just needs to be told all mail comes in care of the name of the foundation. Named form Trump, signed EO, that they need all bank accounts. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Errors and omissions, like they need all bank accounts. What's EO? Good evening. Thank you guys for joining us in YouTubeville. Get your friends on this, man. It's only 26 views over there. Come on, get some more people. I remember we'd go live 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm not kidding you, we'd have 500 or 600 people live. This algorithm that they use on us now is crazy. Sad. Executive order. Executive order only matters to U.S. citizens. I'm not giving my IRS my bank account number. You shouldn't have a personal bank account number anyway. But you know, it's okay for the Social Security Administration to make a deposit to a foundation bank account. Dude, it's 5:33 and we're crushing it. Okay. As you set up the AI support, would you keep in mind the needs of businesses and how we can operate in the private? There is much we need to learn about operating in the private. Yeah. Yeah. So what we've done in this regard is we didn't want to let AI into our database. But we took a programmable AI and we dumped about 1,000 of my Q&A videos, the transcripts, into like the actual question and the answer into a programmable AI. And then we took about 50 completed trouble tickets or living in the private tickets and dumped the entirety of the conversation into that. So for the next several years, we're going to be honing it in. We're going to look, we have a page where the questions come in. We'll have an automated response from AI, and we'll click post or rewrite and program. And the rewrite and program, we'll start off with their post and we'll finish it up. So it's going to make, over time, the ability to answer those questions very much easier, and where we're not letting it into the core function of the database or the website. So it's good news. And it's going to feel more like a chat than it is a ticket system. But I'm okay with that. I just want to translate, once that AI is completely trained, we're going to push that entire knowledge base out into training videos, onto the website, on different areas of the website for training purposes. It's going to be pretty awesome. I just hope we can get it done quick enough. Any other questions? Hey, maybe we don't need to do a Q&A tomorrow. I'll be there. Just kidding. 4:00. Listen, guys, lots is going on in the world. I'm just going to suggest, keep focused, keep getting your ducks, both words apply, in a row. Get aligned with, friends, family, that are agreeing with what's going on, or agreeing with you. I still have friends that are in the private that are all Trumpers, all excited about what's going on there. Trump is in charge of the corporate structure. He's not in charge of the people. Trump is walking people into exactly what that whole system and structure wants him to walk people into. And he is very much going to be a part of that whole system. If he isn't, JD Vance is. You got to ask yourself, why are people buying islands and boats and underground bunkers, and what's going on? Something's going on. And they're getting ready for something. And I know that we can stand protected. We can stand with God like never before. And this is the stuff that we're training people on, is to understand who they are, and to understand the power that they have with the written word, and not be shy, not be fearful about calling that out, and not be worried about what somebody thinks about their opinion, and using the word of God and or legal lawful standings. This is about to get very exciting, and I'm pretty excited for everybody. We've got a couple more questions, and then we'll call it. Hi, sign the declaration page in blue ink. Does it matter? Nope. I always sign in blue ink. Sometimes they say, no, you're not allowed to, and that's interesting to me. Kelby, could you please share how we can set up a foundation or unregistered enterprise to issue payments to an independent contractor, affiliates, and private debit cards, or ACH transfers in the private? Are you asking how to set up foundations for employees, independent contractors, affiliates? They can come to us through you and get it at a discounted rate. Is that what you mean? Rephrase the question a bit if you don't mind. Set up could you share how we can set up a foundation or unregistered enterprise to issue payments to independent contractor affiliates? That's easy. That's easy. I don't know what you're trying to get done, but come on to the Q&A tomorrow at 4:00. That way I can get a little more. I am nearing the age to sign up for Medicare. Is it best to avoid this? That's a great question. I don't think the system of the medical community in this nation has any good intention, goodwill, or long life will for its people. The only reason why my mom is not on every form of pharmaceutical is because I've been in her face for years. She still believes every doctor on what she should be eating and whatnot, and they are telling her that her vegetable diet is really good and she is losing quickly brain function, which needs protein, which needs good carbohydrates, good fats, good fatty oils. Uh, People don't understand that our system of the medical community is not one to be speaking about nutritional health for American people. As a matter of fact, the AMA lists a diet that if anybody were to follow, it would walk them straight into diabetes within 24 months. And that's the recommended diet by the American Medical Association. It's because it enriches the pharmaceutical industries. Listen to me, if the pharmaceuticals were at all helping American people, they wouldn't be as profitable and they'd be nearly running themselves out of business and they would need government grants to keep them open if they were truly fixing, curing cancer. But instead, they're literally paying people, buying technologies, buying cancer cures, killing people over cancer cures. And so when you're asking me, why does the medical situation change at retirement, I get very leery about that because they all get heavily prescribed through these retirement vehicles like Medicare, Medicaid, Medi-Cal, and nobody can force you into that. Um, just be very careful. I'm not applying for any of that stuff. I have private health coverage, and when that runs out, I'm going to have a bond and cash in an account. Beef. It's what's for dinner. Amen. Um, Thank you, Kelby. We had wanted to change our status for years, so many things have challenged our ability to go forward, financial health and other things. We're VIP members and committed to progress. Amen. Thank you. Anything we can do to help, let us know. We make all kinds of concessions for people, so just reach out. Let us know what we can do to help. So if you got any other questions, yeah, we'll push your spouse back, Rob. Don't sign up. Would you please share how we can set up a foundation or unregistered enterprise to send payments to affiliate commission payouts in the private to affiliates? Yeah. So if you have affiliates, you just contract with them as private workers through a foundation. So they sign up an agreement with your foundation and you just pay them directly and you do not 1099 them. They may complain about not getting a 1099. Just tell them, look, I'm not contracted with the IRS. I cannot 1099 you, but you can claim it as income and file a tax return. So it doesn't matter. So you contract with them privately, and if they want to bring it into the public side for themselves and pay taxes, let them. Period. When the foundation is started, will I have to be an ordained minister to be the CEO and or trustee of my foundation? So when we do a foundation, your title is executive director, and what we ask for is a statement of faith. The only thing that matters is that a faithful man of God or woman of God is going to be conducting the efforts of the foundation. So we can now create the foundation for you. So your statement of faith is all that matters to us. There is no need to be ordained. You are ordained right now and called to serve God in every high capacity. Um, and if you need to be ordained, don't do it through a 501c3 ordination, okay? Meaning don't go to a 501c3 church and ask for ordination paperwork. You don't really need it. Prayer for my husband and his Parkinson's, really. Anita Frame is feeling so much better. Thank you. What a blessing to hear that prayer work. Keep praying for him. Get him detoxed. My personal feeling, Parkinson's is heavy metals. Um, People that our future is going to be sweating a lot, getting these toxins out of us, getting these heavy metals out of us. Listen, guys, we're going to call it 5:45. It's only been 45 minutes, but we had a good day. Um, to mine, I'm calling it because I can meet up with you guys tomorrow at 4 p.m. God bless you guys. Have a great week, and know we've got this. There's so much going on in this world right now. Don't be diminished. Don't feel less than what God would have you intend to be feeling. And don't wake up and grab your phone first thing in the morning and start reading all the negativity. Wake up in the morning refreshed, spend some time with the Lord, turn on a nice video that does a lot of prayer, worship, whatever that works for you to build your strength up in the Lord. And that's what I do. I do it nearly every day. I fall asleep to worship. I fall asleep to the Bible. We need to understand that the principalities and powers of this world can only be fought with spiritual warfare. This is why we, in our walks, in our capacity as leaders for our Father here on earth, we need to be in a capacity of a righteous person, and we need to be able to stand in no fear. Come on, God says 365 times in the Word of God, thou shalt not fear. It's crazy. It's crazy, but we operate in fear as if we're eating M&Ms. Okay, we're not. We should not be in fear about anything. Our God is King. Our God has already won this battle, and um, I'm looking forward to the actual main war. I can't wait to see what that looks like. I'd love to be riding back on horseback to the Battle of Armageddon. That would be amazing. Anyway, be blessed, everyone. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific. Have a great day. Enjoy.